you know to check this show out because I'm talking about this particular episode. The guy who I'm astounded. You know, Mark Thompson, the other Mark Thompson, the successful, beautiful, fabulous Mark Thompson. I needed a third descriptive, and I didn't really have it, so I just used fabulous. But he, for so long, was part of Mark and Brian. We had a big conversation here on the show, and you should go back and listen to it because it was great. And he's just done a book and donating all the proceeds to charity. He's quite the guy, and it's kind of cool here after his world has. The Mark and Brian world has moved on, and he's defined himself in the next chapter of his life, and he's done this book, as I say. He did our show, and then he got in touch afterward, and he said, hey, you know, at my book opening at he had a huge show at the Saban Theater in Los Angeles. He said, I was really trying to bring all the people who had touched the Mark and Brian show in to perform and in to be part of it. And I mean, these are big stars we're talking about. But his history with this guy who we're going to bring on, along with Mark Thompson, Mark will really give you a little more of the backstory. His history with this guy is really extraordinary. And this guy is a guy who is an actor, a singer. I just saw his CBS special. He's just done one for Christmas. Quite spectacular. Please welcome two guys, Mark Thompson and Tyler Hilton, everybody. I know. Yeah.
What's up?
What's up, Tyler Hilton? Quite the singer, actor. I was mentioning the CBS special. I watched a bunch of it. I don't like to feel too good at the holidays, and it was making me feel kind of good and warm, so I didn't see the entire thing yet, but I watched it. You're such an actor, pal. I mean, in addition to being such a great singer, so great to have you here.
Hey,
and Mark,
thank you.
You know I love you. I mean, I think it's kind of a new love. I've always respected and loved your work, but it's been great to get to know you a little bit. And I'm going to turn the show over to you because I know you and Tyler have a relationship, and then I'm really looking forward to hearing Tyler perform. So welcome, my friend.
I appreciate that, Mark. And I will tell you, after I was on with Mark the other day, it dawned on me as I was literally doing the show and I was watching this incredibly professional setup that you had. I thought that this might be the way that I could get Tyler on, because when we did the Saban show, Mark, as I told you, every single person that was invited to perform and be a part of that show had a history with the Mark and Brian program. That was the rule of thumb that I followed. And so I literally called Tyler and said, I want you to do this because, and if you're not familiar with the way that I met Tyler, we on the Mark and Brian program, we would take phone calls all day. Phone calls in the world of radio are gold. They're absolute gold. And we would always take a phone call that we felt held some sort of merit. And so one day we take this phone call and all the screen said was, the kid says he can sing. Now, for me, this is gold right. because there's only one of two ways this can go. Either the kid can sing, or even better, he's off. So
even better, he's awful. I love that.
Yeah. So we take the phone call, and it's this, kid is talking like this, and you could actually hear the acne and grease that was on this kid.
Oh,
yeah. No, I mean, you really could.
It was rough.
And he was, well, I mean, this is a grown up version. Tyler then and Tyler now is just a big goober. And this kid, he comes on and we're talking to him and he's purely 16 and his voice is breaking. And so we kind of said, hey man, we see that you can sing. Why don't you sing a little bit? So he picked up his guitar. And out of the 16-year-old kid's mouth came, well, let me just put it this way. You could no longer tell you were listening to a 16-year-old. It was true. And keep in mind, this is the thing where he set the phone down and just played. You can imagine how that must have, and you could hear the talent through that. So we had him come in and he was more impressive than he was on the phone. And then we invited him to the Mark and Brian Christmas show to come out and perform for what I believe, Tyler, was your biggest crowd to date.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would play in coffee houses where half the audiences people I had was blood relation to. So, and that to the Will turn, it was like,
Wow.
Well, I remember it going incredibly well. And then Tyler, for those of you that don't know, he went on to massive fame with One Tree Hill. He starred on that. He covered John Waite's Missing You and many other tunes. And then now Tyler Hilton has become Tyler Hilton. And you have to kind of separate his acting from his music, because and I've told him this, I love what he's doing musically. He's doing only the stuff that touches him and that moves him. And I have, Tyler is one of those kind of guys that, we all lose track with people. And every now and then we run back into them at Christmas time. And that kind of what happened, because I invited Tyler to come to the Saban show, because of his obvious history that I just told you. And now he's gone on to become that guy. And he immediately said, yes, I'd love to come. And basically what he was going to do, because he had done Missing You and had a big hit with it, he was going to do a live duet with John Waite, the guy who wrote the song on the Saban.
Wow.
And that was going to be it. That was all he was going to do. And he was excited and pumped, and I was, and it was going to be a great moment. And then 2 days before the Saban show, Tyler calls me and he says, dude, I've got COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He and you're doing okay now, Tyler?
yeah,
you're
yeah,
back?
yeah,
You're good?
Yeah.
All right.
Totally.
How
Better
bad
and
was
everything.
it? Did you have what were
Worse
the
than
symptoms?
I thought, and I was all
Yeah.
like vaxxed up and everything. But yeah, over the Thanksgiving travel was like our first travel out, and we were all down for like 2 weeks, but all good.
Well, that news, and obviously he couldn't come, and that news was particularly devastating.
Killed me.
Not because we were going to miss the Missing You moment. It was because of what happened the week before that. I knew that I had Tyler. He's going to come do this with John Waite. And I was sitting outside at 7:00 in the morning, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm going down the rabbit's hole, as we all do with that. And I ran across a video of Tyler singing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And as soon as I heard it, I called him, because we've all heard that song 1,000 times by different people, but I had never heard it done in the way that he did it. His interpretation of that tune was, I had to have it. So I called him and I told him, and he said, which one? And I said, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. He said, which version? I said, the one that made me cry. What do you say? I want you to come and do this thing. And then I lost him. And the reason that made me so sad is that Mark, I think you know this, I've always had a little bit of a deeper connection with those that enjoy the broadcast that I'm a part of. And I've always shared things with them that, maybe a lot of personalities wouldn't, but I do consider some of them friends, except the ones that don't shower. And there's a fairly sizable section. We were going to make them sit in a special place at the Saban.
You found that out at the Saban show also? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And so I wanted to take that moment, because when I listened to that song by Tyler, it affected me deeply. And I wanted to share a moment with the crowd at the Saban. And I didn't get a chance to, and that was when I reached out to Mark, thinking that maybe Tyler and I could do this. I wanted to share this with you as we approach Christmas in a few days, because I think that it's a very real part of the holidays. As you know, loneliness is also a very big part of the Christmas holiday. It's one thing to be lonely on a Wednesday, but it's another deal to be lonely at Christmas time. And it literally is a big part of the Christmas holiday. And I wanted to share the story because it's what happened. The moment I started listening to Tyler's version of Have Yourself, I sat there 7:00 in the morning trying to wake up, and I was immediately rushed back to the worst Christmas I ever had, which was December of 1981. And I'm going to tell you the story, and a lot of you won't understand why I'm telling it, but I'm giving you this for a reason, which will reveal itself. So I was trying to climb the ladder of radio, and I was in Savannah, Georgia, doing mornings. It was my very first morning show ever. So it felt like I was doing pretty good. And this particular Christmas, my mother, who was the greatest Christmas beast in the world, this woman could cook circles around anybody. It looked like a Christmas bomb went off in the house. And my father hated Christmas. He saw the commercial side of it, and he wanted no part, but she didn't listen to that. And it was the greatest Christmas, and I was going to miss it. I'm 24 at the time, and I'm going to miss Christmas because my car was broken, and I couldn't afford to get it fixed. So I'm alone at Christmas time, and I'm dating this girl at the time. We were about a month in. Her name is Linda. She went on to become my wife. We were dating at this time, and I couldn't afford a Christmas tree, but on the radio station, we were giving them away. So I had Linda call the hotline and pretend to be a listener.
That's great.
That's bad.
Love that.
Hey, you do what you have to do.
You do what you gotta
here.
do. You
I
do
can't
what you
afford a
gotta
tree,
do.
so
Mark Thompson.
we don't forget I'm Brad Pitt, good looking, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, you got away with it.
So,
Yeah.
so I put her on the radio and I gave her the Christmas tree, and she got all excited, which cracked me up. She was trying to act like she really cared, and so I gave her the tree, and we went and picked it up, and it was all legitimate. We put it in my apartment. And as I said, I didn't have any money. We couldn't afford any Christmas gifts. So we went to the drugstore, and Linda bought a spool of white ribbon. And we went back to the apartment, and we made popcorn, and we tied that ribbon into bows, and we decorated the tree. And then she had to go to the airport because she was flying home to Atlanta to be with her family. So now I am genuinely alone for this Christmas, and the devastation and the loneliness was something that I had never experienced, not at that level. And so I woke up Christmas morning, and I sat on the couch, and I'm drinking coffee and smoking as much pot as I possibly can just to try to get through this holiday. And I'm sitting there, and I look behind that tree that I cheated and got it into my apartment by lying on the air, and I'm admitting it now. And I see a gift wedged up behind the tree, and I get up and I go over, and it was something that Linda had bought for me, knowing that I wouldn't have anybody or anything. And I opened that gift, and it was an electric train, and I set it up. And it was going around in circles, and my cat, Miss Kitty, my cat, came over, and she's sitting by the train track, and you can imagine the cat's head. She's just doing circles as she's watching it go around. It must have been 5 minutes until she couldn't take it. She reached out her paw and slapped that thing across the room. And it was one of the funniest things I witnessed. So I sat it up and watched her do that all day. But I had a minute to assess the darkness that I was sitting in. I was 24. I'm trying to climb the ladder of radio, and it's not going well, both professionally and personally. And I've never been a victim. I've never been somebody who said, "Oh, woe is me. Look what life did to me. Poor me." I looked at what I was in, and I realized that it was of my own making. I had created this. If I had asked the right questions before I took this job, I would have realized that this station I was on was a completely dead radio station. It was AM music, and FM had taken over. I was doing good radio, but nobody was hearing it. And I literally worked for a tyrant. A guy who hired me was the kind of person who enjoyed making you miserable because that made him happy. And I did that. If I had asked the right questions, I would have known that. And I was dead broke. I didn't handle my money. I just threw it away on stupid stuff. I was taking no responsibility. And I realized that this mess, if I had handled money better, I could have fixed my car. I could have gone home. I could have been with my mother. This was my fault. Every bit of it. And I sat there on that couch, stoned, and I realized that, hey, bud, if you're going to make it to major market and you're going to do this thing that you want to do, you got to wake up. You got to get better. You got to ask the right questions. You got to be professional. You got to watch your money. You've got to grow up, or this will be your life. And to look back on that Christmas, which is what Tyler's song made me do, the things, sorry. How about the Dodgers? They're doing, well, actually not that well. It's that kind of a sad story. We'll get into that in a minute. The things that I've been able to accomplish, it's hard for me to believe that I was that guy sitting on that couch, but I was. And I wanted to share this because we're all connected. We're all human beings, and we all have dark times, all of us, and they're devastating to be in. But don't you understand, if it weren't for the dark times, the great times wouldn't mean anything. If every day was bright, blue, and gorgeous, you would take it for granted. We have to have the dark to make the light. Bob Ross, I paint. And Bob Ross, the guy on YouTube, he tells us all the time, when you paint a tree, you paint it black, the first version. And then when you put the highlights on, he said, be careful not to kill the dark, because it's the dark that makes the light possible. It feels like the world's on fire to me. And I know that we're all going to go through tough times. I want you to know that you have to fight through it. You have to look at it for what it is. You have to look at it as the gift. I promise you, there is a better day. When you're standing in the middle of a tornado, it's hard to know that there's sunshine just on the outside of it, but there is. And if you lay down, if you give up, that's what bad wants. Bad has lots of ways to put you down. Ignore it. I was that guy sitting on that couch, and I wasn't a victim. I caused that. That was on me. And I wanted you to be aware, if you're really, really in a bad place, tell somebody that loves you, and they will help you, and they will help you find a way to climb out of that thing. Because there is a better day. There is a brighter day for all of us, and we'll do this together because we are human beings. Because I wanted Tyler to come and sing that song for me. It's not for anybody else. I want him to sing it for me, because on that December 81, I was given the greatest gift. It came wrapped in black paper, and it was a gift you can't buy in a store. And Tyler's song took me there. So, Tyler, would you sing that for me?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. May your heart be light. From now on, our problems will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us. all will be together. And if the fates allow, hang a shining star on the highest bough. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Like, I'm so overcome, I can't even clap. That was amazing.
I know.
Oh
That-
man, I didn't think I
just-
could sing that after that story.
That 16-year-old really grew up, huh? Man.
And you can still smell the pimples, though. They're right there.
I don't know. I didn't smell them, man. That seemed pretty
Beautiful.
mature to me. Damn.
Well,
Oh,
you see,
man.
this is the guy that Tyler and I, you get busy in life and you kind of rekindle your career. We've chatted a bit. We've talked a lot of creative stuff. We've really enjoyed getting to know each other because Tyler is now a father. Your daughter is how old, Tyler?
Yeah, she just turned 3 a couple days ago.
Oh, that's
So
great.
what is Christmas going to be at your house this year? Because a 3-year-old, oh
This
God,
is
it's
real.
the magic special time right now.
This is the real Christmas, the first real one, where she knows Santa's coming, gets the presents, understands it also. She's gonna remember shit from now on. Is the point? So I gotta get it together. It's got the first 2 years. You got a couple years to be like, whoops, won't do that again. No, this year. But when my wife was pregnant and I was so freaked out going into this whole thing, I was on tour and I went through North Carolina and it was one of the first times we reconnected. And I was like, dude, I am so scared. I'm about to have a kid. I want to be a great dad. I want to be, I want to keep doing this art thing. Like, how did you do it? Like, and Mark gave me so much great advice over lunch. We talked so long and really gave me some nice tent poles, the kind of advice you don't get unless you ask for it and ask for it from someone really special. And anyway, it's been great. He didn't warn me that COVID was coming though, but the rest of it. But
now,
cool.
Tyler has also been. Many of you know that Tyler played Elvis in Walk the Line, and I didn't know he was doing this until I called him in the middle of all this. He's been rehearsing. Tell it, you're doing a bit of an Elvis
we're doing
thing.
this like a celebration of Elvis's music and Sun Records. And we're taking it out to a bunch of theaters, myself and a band called Hot Club of Cowtown. That's like a professional Western swing band, stand-up bass.
Oh, that's
and so
great.
they're all out of Austin. I've been a fan of theirs forever. And we ended up on the same agency. And we were just like, dude, we got to do something. So they booked us at a bunch of like, fancy theaters with like intermissions and shit, and we're like doing this celebration of Elvis's music and it's going to be awesome. Just the early stuff, like the rockabilly stuff. So,
That's really cool.
yeah, it's cool. We're doing it'll be really cool. So the dates,
Mark Thompson was thrown out of Graceland. Did you know that?
For life. Forever.
He's banned, lifetime ban.
Yeah.
what happened?
Well, I'll tell it quick. We wanted to broadcast in Graceland shortly after they put Graceland on tour. You could go in and we wanted to broadcast from the tour and Graceland said no. And we didn't agree with that. And so we had the engineering department put small microphones inside the handles of these little umbrellas. And we went in and we broadcasted live from inside and we got caught. We got arrested by the cops, the Elvis police. And they took us, this is like late 80s. They took us to Elvis's kitchen, which wasn't on the tour then. And they took our earplugs, but they left the umbrellas in front of us, and we kept broadcasting the entire time. They're yelling at us, and so they kicked us out. And then the USC Trojan Parade called us, and they said, "Look, at the end of the parade, we're going to have this 10-foot Elvis head covered in flowers. Do you want it?" And we said, "Duh." So we did what everybody would do. We strapped it to an 18-wheeler, and we drove that Elvis head to Graceland. And we parked our gift, because it was a gift. We were going to say, hey, we're sorry that we allegedly broadcasted from inside. And here's this 10-foot Elvis head. You can have that. And we parked the 18-wheeler in front of the famous Elvis gates. And by doing that, we blocked the tour for 3 hours.
Oh, no.
The Elvis police came and they started directing traffic around our truck. Never once did they say, move your truck. So we didn't. And that was when the president of Elvis Enterprises came out and threatened to shoot us in the head on Elvis Presley Boulevard.
My God.
And kicked us out for life. And by the way, years later, 20 years later, we went to the first Elvis impersonators contest at Elvis Week. And I come out of the men's room during intermission, and that guy that threatened to shoot us was coming down the stairs. And I had to know. I had to know. So I walked up to him and I said, hey, man, this is great. And he said, thank you, sir, and welcome to Graceland. He had no clue who it was.
Oh, that's great. That's just so great. I love it.
Before anybody
Tyler-
even mentioned Elvis and Tyler started singing, I actually kind of got a bit of an Elvis vibe.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really
Oh,
did.
yeah. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah. I don't know if
will
it's your
tell you-
hair or what, but it was like, this guy's going to be bigger. I know it.
Well,
I'll tell you
man.
this
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
Tyler when it comes to his music, and we've talked about this. Tyler doesn't succumb musically to stuff that the label wants him to do or whatever. He only does the stuff that moves him from within. And his music shows that, and it shares that. And I do think he has a special place in the world of music while everybody else is, you hear this Christmas album by this massive name, and it's absolutely awful because they just decided to put something out that's going to make money. Tyler doesn't do that. He follows his heart, as does Mark Thompson, who let me to come on and do this special.
Thank you for tying me into that. But I have to say, we've gotten a couple of comments even in the chat about Walk the Line. I mean, that's a brilliant film, of course, and you're brilliant in it. And for those who haven't seen it or don't remember, go back and see it. The young Elvis. It's really cool. In fact, I'd be interested in your travel schedule to know where you're going to be doing that.
Yeah,
stuff.
we're doing some Southern California stuff. We're going to do, I think, Orange County, San Diego, and Palm Desert.
Oh, great.
So,
Mark, I told Tyler to let me know because I'm going. So,
Yeah.
and I know Tyler, so I can get all the tickets I need.
Yeah.
Look,
we're
I'm
all going. You guys come.
I'm for reals on this. I really mean it. I really would love to be part of that.
Mark Thompson +2?
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
right.
Mark Thompson ×2. And then, okay. There's two
Which
of them
Mark
coming.
Thompson? Mark Thompson took my ticket.
Is he bringing two people? No, there's two of them.
You're just glorious to be here today. Mark Thompson, thank you for making it all happen. I was excited about this, and it exceeded all my and Mark, your ramp up to it, your introduction, your thoughts, your reflections, truly stirring and emotional. And I thank you for sharing so much and being so open. So I wish you a Merry Christmas, my friend.
I really meant that. Just remember, people, when you're in the middle of it, there's a way out. Just keep that in mind, and you'll be absolutely fine. No problems. Tyler, thank you for doing it. Hey,
Mark,
that thing up on top of your head, is that natural, or do you put something in it?
It looks crazy because the headphones are pushing everything else down. Everything else is usually out here.
Oh, it's great. It's great, man. All right.
Thank you, Tyler.
Visit
All
again,
right,
will you,
thank you,
Tyler? And
guys.
we'll see you Mark and I will both see you at your show when you get to SoCal.
I would
All
love
right,
it.
my
That'd be
friend.
great.
All right.